This is quite an incredible story that's come out about the British Health Secretary, Matt Hancock. He was caught on CCTV in his own office in a romantic embrace with his staffer. This is at the same time he was asking the public not to hug and kiss their own children and family members, which is utterly ridiculous. Both him and his staff member are separately married with children. Tony, this is the type of hypocrisy that people just hate.
Look, I think, what's happened there is actually he's being hung for something professionally because he failed to turn around and keep the same conditions that he requires the rest of the community to hold in this case in the UK. And of course, what's particularly begalling about this is that he also didn't get sacked for the failures in aged care. Bit of a history in both our countries on that. When so many people were sent from hospitals without being COVID tested, elderly, and put into aged care facilities, which killed hundreds of people in the UK. And of course, he failed to turn around and have lockdowns for short durations and the lockdowns and appropriate lockdown requirements to make sure that there wasn't so many people getting killed. So we've got that failed test and tracing system that they also put in place. If anything, he should have been sacked for all those things, any one of them, let alone the three of them. But turning around and failing to keep his own standards regarding hugging and kissing. So, if he's broken his own standards, then he has to be held to account for it.
Actually, my grandmother is one of the people who were in a nursing home in the UK who died of COVID-19 just around Christmas last year. Oh, actually, sorry, she passed away January this year and wasn't given any medical treatment at all because she was in her 90s. So, she's one of the people who are just left to die in aged care facilities in the UK after contracting COVID-19. Alex, this has really captured the nation's attention because the UK government did not handle this well. A lot of the world has focused on Donald Trump's handling, but really the UK's handling was truly shocking of COVID-19. They decided early on to go with that herd immunity status and then implemented these ridiculous rules about trying to stop people from hugging and kissing. This is what's fascinating about this story as well, is that the CCTV was actually leaked to the Sun newspaper from inside his own office.
Yeah, you wonder about that. I mean, you immediately see that and think perhaps there's a disgruntled employee or a factional rival or someone like that that's got their hands on. I think there'll be a bit more to say about that particular aspect. But look, Tony's right about that. It's hard to know whether in politics it's a worse sin for the alleged hypocrisy or the a worse sin for, simply not doing what you say you'll do. I think people on both counts really, really look to politicians to hold that standard. And what we've seen here is somebody that's potentially breached both the infidelity and the hypocrisy, and people just simply don't like it. Look, I think as to the issue about how countries have reacted to COVID-19, there's going to be a lot written about this in years to come. And we heard a lot early on about the so-called Swedish model being the gold standard, and that seemed not to be. I think there'll be a lot of poring over which one was right in hindsight.
I think another thing that really struck everyone in the UK is those terrible, tragic, heartbreaking images of the Queen sitting by herself at Prince Philip's funeral. And I think that was just a few weeks before these images were taken.